Good morning, folks, from the lunatic asylum called Ireland. Sean Citizen here. It's frightening to pick up the papers now. This morning's Irish Times, other articles online. Prisoners in various jails completely out of control, running amok, slicing each other and attacking and slicing with razors. The prison officers themselves being sent down to high confinement, Portlaoise, and punishment cells, and so on and so forth, and still running their drug trade from inside. Now, the demand for these drugs must be absolutely horrendous because these people all over the country now are making fortunes on selling drugs. So there's a whole generation of young people who must be using these drugs, everything from crack cocaine to tablets, whatever kind of stuff they use, or shit, I don't know. But anyway, this is a fact. And besides that, gripped.ie, Ben Scallon made an interview recently with Leo Varadkar, and Leo dropped some nuggets of information when he was asked why nobody has ever been deported from Ireland. So Leo proceeded to waffle on and said that, well, some people are giving right to stay on refugee status, others are refused refugee status, but for humane reasons are allowed to stay. And he said, for another sector that they try to deport, nobody in the countries they came from will take them back. The countries they came from won't take them back. So, what countries are we talking about here, Leo? You didn't mention that in the interview. Are we talking about Georgia, Albania, Romania, or wherever? Because if the scum of the earth manage to arrive here with or without passports or false papers, and the countries they came from are not taking them back, what implications is that? And you are building halls and you're building centers and you're converting all kinds of warehouses for these people. And what will be the end result of their permanent presence in little communities? The latest one being Ruski in Roscommon, lovely little village, now earmarked for 100 of God knows what kind of people. This just can't go on, boys. Roderick and Faradker, you've just got to get your act together here. You're maybe enriching lots of businessmen who exploit this and get 90 euros a day for putting them up, but that's almost criminal what you're doing to the Irish people. Almost, it reminds me of the time many years ago when there was a Cold War big time between America and Cuba, Castro and Kennedy and all the rest. And at one stage they tried to invade Cuba, but it was not successful. It was a catastrophe. But anybody coming from Cuba then was deemed a refugee fleeing from persecution and oppression. So they were accepted into the United States immediately, just like Roderick takes in the vermin and the underworld of all Europe here without question. And what did Castro do? He opened all his prisons, who contained the worst and the nastiest people in the country. And he put them on boats and he said, here you go, boys, off you go to America. So thousands of them arrived in Havana, and due to the enmity between America and communist Cuba, they were all given persecution status and allowed to stay. Hence, today, Havana is mafia and drug center of America. They all got into business there and started their drug importing and so on. So thousands of criminals arrived there, were welcomed as economic or whatever persecution refugees from Cuba. So anyway, That's it, folks, for today. I'll talk to you later. And I hope you have a lovely day. And don't forget my website, soldiersofdestiny.org. That's Facebook, and Ireland's deadliest ever coalition government. Cheers.